Economic sustainability and advancement are major goals of cities everywhere.
Alan Scott from our Aberdeen newsroom has more on the challenges, though, of economic sustainability in the hub city.
Missouri River water coming this way, Banner Engineering leaving. Those are some of the positives and negatives going on in town, and we're going to talk about those items. There's a project to bring Missouri River water to the Aberdeen area. The city's mayor, Travis Schoeneman, comments on why that's economically important.
You know, Aberdeen has been challenged with the source water that we've had for quite a lot of years, so improving that is going to open up doors for us in terms of economic opportunities and in terms of quality of life as well.
So how's that project coming along?
So we're really excited with the progress of our WINS project, our collaborative effort with BDM and Webwater. Those guys have started work on the project. We continue to get additional funding from the state, and work is underway to expand the pipeline as we speak.
A company that's been in Aberdeen for some time, Banner Engineering, is in a phased shutdown to be completed by the end of the year. City Economic Development Officer Amber Schwab shares why there was an outreach to area businesses about that.
We wanted to let the community know that those workers wanted to be, retained in our community. Put together a career and resource fair, reached out to those employers, and then worked immediately with the Aberdeen Development Corps to talk about what the future of that location would be.
Banner's facility is located across from the 3M plant and is rather large.
The Aberdeen Development Corps has actually had 4 potential interested parties reach out, and there's a site tour this week.
City officials doing their best to try to take lemons and make lemonade, economically speaking, of course. In Aberdeen, Alan Scott, Dakota News Now.